For those of you that saw my last video, all know that I'm going to try this whole minimalistic approach or this intentional living approach. And so in the spirit of doing that, I was going through my old books. Now this book, I think it is maybe 4 or 5 years. And so basically in this, I used to just write, just share my thoughts. And I was just reading and going through it. And I mean, I wrote a lot of good stuff there. And there's this one thing that I want to talk about in particular, and now I lost it.
2 very boring minutes later. A little longer than a few minutes later.
This is exactly the reason why you need to declutter.
Following day.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Okay, and here it is. Basically what I had written is, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I'm sure many of you have already heard this quote, and this is absolutely true. But I think that we need to change our interpretation of it. So this quote basically says, if you hang around with people that have no aims, that have no goals, they're just chilling all the time and just not going forward, and you want to go forward, you're not going to be able to do that with them holding you back. I mean, it's obvious. If you want to be successful, you have to surround yourself by successful people. But the problem is, say that you are surrounding yourself with successful people, or the people that you want to be like in the mornings. And the rest of the day, you're on Instagram. You're just scrolling through Instagram, watching all the reels, watching all the stories. You see a lot of negativity, and you see a lot of people that are your age are just flexing with the watch or the cars or the fancy house or stuff like that. And it just gets you down. Stuff like that which just demotivates you. Now the question becomes, you're hanging around with those 5 people that are successful, but the rest of the time you're on Instagram or on social media and you're consuming all content that basically puts you down or is negative. That's just counterproductive, right? So this quote is not only relevant to the people we surround with, but in today's time, I think it's very relevant to the type of content we consume as well. We are continuously consuming content that is negative or that makes us feel sad or inferior or puts us down. That's just counterproductive, and that's just not helpful for you. When people talk about confidence, many of them will tell you, if you want to be confident, you need to look in the mirror and tell yourself, you can do it, you can do it. And yeah, okay, fine, that is true. You need to love yourself more, you need to believe in yourself more. That's all fine and good. But what's the point of all this if at the end of the day, you're going to be consuming all kinds of rubbish and which will just put your confidence down? See, I believe confidence is an energy, and yes, it does come from within us, but also our entire surrounding and what we surround ourselves with has to be on that same energy level in order to maintain that confidence. If it's something that's at a lower level, it's obviously going to bring down our confidence level. Like, say you take something hot and you put it in a cold environment, it's going to turn cold. If you take something cold and you put it in a hot environment, it's going to turn hot. So besides the fact that self-confidence comes from within, your entire surrounding, your social media consumption, everything needs to be on that same energy level. If you're consuming content that is negative, if you're surrounding yourself with negative people, there is no way that your confidence or your energy level or your positivity is going to remain the same. We cannot only rely on the fact that we need to be confident within, we also have to surround ourselves with the same atmosphere, the same people that, bring us to that level that we want to reach. I fell into this trap of, being on Instagram and just hours and hours of just scrolling through reels, through posts, and I had to honestly stop and ask myself, what's the point? We as a society have become so dependent on other people's opinions, on the number of likes we get, on the number of followers that we get to boost our self-confidence. We are depending on the validation of people that we don't actually like to comment that this is a cool pic or you look good in this pic. It's ridiculous to me. So I started becoming more intentional with my social media consumption. So the pages that the content was just making me feel worse than before, I just unfollowed them or just muted them. Another thing I did was I turned off notifications, because I don't need to be reminded again and again that someone liked my photo or somebody commented on my photo. I can just see all that when I just log into the account. And the last thing I did was I stopped checking the likes, I stopped checking my followers. If I post something on Instagram, I just turn off my notifications, I close the app and I just go on with my day. I don't need validation from the likes or the comments. To tell you all something, from a young age, I've always enjoyed storytelling. I've always enjoyed writing plays, writing stories. I've always enjoyed it. But I struggle with the confidence of, telling people or, putting it out there. So that's one of the main reasons why I started this podcast. One, for me to build up my confidence and put myself out there. And two, I believe everyone has a story to tell. You see, most of these podcasts or these interviews, they usually get on these celebrities or these famous people to talk. But what I want to do with this podcast is I want to give a voice to anybody. And if their story can make a difference in even one person's life, trust me, it's going to be worth it. But it's the lack of confidence and the lack of opportunity to tell your story that's holding you back. So if you want to share your story on CoffeeScript, make sure you hit me up on my Instagram @McMarshow, the same name as my YouTube channel. And also, like I mentioned in the beginning, I'm in the process of going down this path of minimalism and intentional living, and I think everyone can benefit from intentional living. Even if it's not the full entire concept, even a small part of it can make a huge difference in your life. So be sure to check that video out. It will be linked somewhere here, I think. And that's it for today. I'll see you all next time. Peace.